We have been boarded by armed pirates. If they find you, remember, you know the ship, they don't. Stick together, and we'll be all right.
1 minute, I will kill all your friends.
If you're gonna shoot somebody, shoot me!
Relax. Everything gonna be okay. Look at me.
Sure.
Look at me.
Sure.
I'm the captain now.
Welcome to Millennial Mind Games. I'm Josh.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Jacob.
And that was a clip from the famous movie Captain Phillips. I am the captain now.
No games. You no play no games.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. All right.
How you guys doing this week?
Doing all right. How about yourself?
I'm doing just fine, Chris.
Pretty good, man. That's a very riveting movie, though. By the
Yeah.
way, I've watched it like 3 times.
It's intense.
Mm-hmm.
Anything with Tom
Yeah,
Hanks
you gotta be
is
sweating.
really
Yeah.
good.
Mm-hmm. It's a little bit more intense than Sully.
Yeah.
The plane doesn't crash.
Yeah.
That's the story there.
Damn it.
All right, so today we are talking about our pirates. Oi, matey.
I'm
Ay,
not gonna make a
caramba.
comment.
Ay, caramba.
I'll keep my comments to myself on
Someone's
that.
going to do a parrot squawk. Pirate. No. Okay. So, yeah, today we're going to talk about different kinds of modern day piracy and a little bit of old fashioned Captain Jack Sparrow piracy as well. First, we're going to be talking about Somali pirates and actual piracy that occurs every day, it turns out, in the world we live in. And then we'll be talking about a kind of piracy that we're a little bit more familiar with, internet piracy, and that whole deep dive, because there's a lot to say. Right, Chris?
There's a ton of shit out there.
A lot of cyber swashbuckling.
Yep.
I love it. Cyber swashbucklers. All right, so to start off our discussion today, I wanted to point out that there's an actual live map on the ICC website. That is the Commercial Crime Services website. I guess it's an international sort of business commerce organization, and they keep track of daily pirate events. The last one that happened was on July 14th. But if you're looking at this map here, and I'll link to it in our description, so if you're curious, you can see it. I kind of thought it was going to be simply just off the coast of Africa, essentially, because that's, where Somalia is.
Yeah.
I figured it was around there, Ivory Coast kind of thing. I'm looking at this, and that's, a part of it, but there's also a ton going on in the Philippines and a little bit in South America. So it's interesting to think that, and you can go online and see videos of people battling with pirates and, security teams and all that kind of stuff. It's really interesting to think that that sort of stuff is still going on today, don't you think?
Yeah, it looks like there's a lot going on the coast of India.
Yeah, that's where the...
Yeah,
I'm waiting to see
looking-
another message, like a little message board on the bottom where you can message other pirates. Like you can talk to each other and meet up, like a pirate hookup.
Are they the ones using the AIM accounts?
The AIM accounts, yes. At pirate128.
I am not a pirate 3.
Yeah. I love it. So...
I'm a pirate for
Check
that
out
booty.
the size of my parrot.
So modern day piracy doesn't look like the piracy we think of when we think of pirates. They're not, no peg legs, no eye patches. I mean, I'm sure some of them have eye patches. No parrots. It's like usually a small skiff kind of motorboat type thing that just goes up to a huge freighter. And then they have these ladders, a lot like in Captain Phillips, where, they hook the ladder on and they run on and all this stuff. Most of the time, they don't actually kill anybody or capture anybody, but that does happen. And ransoms is a pretty common tactic to ransom the people on the boat. They get like $50,000 up to $1 million for ransoming.
It's kind of like what Mexico does.
How?
There are a lot of
Oh, you mean like
places
the
that do.
cartel? Well, yeah, like ransoming.
Yeah, they'll take Americans for ransom. Just 'cause
Crime
they think
in
they're worth a
general.
lot. And that's why military is not allowed to go to Mexico in a lot of cases.
Yeah,
Because then the government has to pay, and they don't want to pay.
right.
So
Exactly.
they'll pay and then kick you out.
Mm-hmm. So pirates, in the end, are just essentially bands of robbers, criminals that steal shit, but at sea, right?
Yeah.
And the question I want to pose to you guys is, when we think of pirates, we kind of think of like a glorified version of adventure and the high seas and and almost a little bit anarchy, escaping the government control and all that stuff. The way the laws work, because of international waters, a lot of these pirates go free pretty much all the time because none of these countries want to pay to actually keep them in jail. So do you think that maybe the world should be doing more to deal with these pirates? Do you think that we should be thinking of them in a positive light?
I don't think we should be thinking of them in a positive light. That's kind of like saying like any thief you're thinking of in a positive light.
Yeah.
It's like it's tough because like it doesn't really happen here. At least we don't hear about it happening here in America. So it just seems like some far off like myth.
Yeah, so another thing I guess we could throw into this conversation is that there's not just those kind of pirates. There's also what are called environmental pirates, which is like a group like Sea Shepherd Conservation Society. And what these groups do, what these groups do is they go out and they go to like boats that are whaling, like off the coast of Japan or something, like killing sharks, whatever it is. And sometimes, usually it's just protesting. But a lot of times, actually, apparently they will like ram their ship into the other ship, sometimes even board the other ship to try to get them to stop. And that's a little more interesting of a case because they think they're doing something really positive and good. It's not just about like a selfish need for goods. It's an actual supposedly doing good for the world, and it's a little bit more morally gray, I guess.
You know what they say, the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
They sound like a bunch of douchebags to me.
Yeah, it's just like...
I mean, I've seen them on their show. I really liked it, the South Park take on them. Throw the stinky butter at them.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't seem right to justify their actions and not justify the others.
Okay. So
as well, because you're doing the same thing essentially. Like whether you have good intentions or not, you're still committing a crime.
Right.
Like
well, this
regardless
is sort
of intention. So
this is sort of the Robin Hood question. I mean, Robin Hood,
he was a thief.
Steals from the rich to give to the poor. We kind of consider him a positive figure. Yeah, he was still committing crimes, right?
Yeah, there's a better way to do it. I mean, like that's just like the easy way out is crime.
So how would you, if you really felt like you needed to do something about stopping people killing whales and stopping people killing sea life in general, how would you go about doing it other than directly stopping them?
I don't know how I would go about it besides trying to take like a political route, which is really hard and a really shitty route to take.
Right.
Because you'll end up in some other place fighting for ant civilization instead.
Ant civilization.
Because the way politics works, man.
Against the termites.
Yeah.
Seen that movie Ants? All right.
I love that movie.
Anyways,
Ants are incredible creatures, you're saying.
Oh, they sure are. Let's do an episode on that. But let's just take an example of something that, like, an extreme case where a ship is out there just murdering, a bunch of whales and they're going into extinct or whatever. I'm not saying that's true, just to take an extreme case. Do you think that in the end it would be justified to go outside the law and basically be a pirate for good in order to stop a moral bad?
Do you really consider like them just killing whales and putting them into extinction actually morally bad? Because I mean, I'm like
that's a good question.
I'm kind of a believer in Darwinism, and I mean, if we're the greater species, and
let me just speak for the whales here. Christopher.
I'm playing like
You're
devil's advocate right now. So
I'm playing the whales advocate. Maybe like putting it like a moral question of keeping whales. I think that we should try and not kill everything we see and touch. But I think that battle has to be fought culturally because they're doing it to sell. Like they're not just doing it to do it like because they hate the whales or something. Not according to South Park. According to South Park, the Japanese hate whales. But I mean, they're doing it for a reason. Like, why are they doing it?
So
because there's a market for it.
I mean, because in Asian taste, there's a bunch of stuff, a bunch of products that use whale
genitalia.
I would say blubber, but I mean, like no one uses like oil lamps or anything. But you know what I mean.
Whale oil.
Yeah.
This is a bit of a tangent, but I think about like ivory and the killing elephants and poaching and all that stuff. I mean, poaching is kind of like piracy, but on land. But
land piracy,
and in the similar vein. And you're right. I think the right move would be to try to get rid of the commercial value of the product, and therefore no one would have any motivation to do these things because you're right. It's not like they're killing whales because they hate whales. They're killing whales because they can make a profit off of it. And these people just see a more direct route by essentially being pirates and stopping them instead of trying to change the whole culture. You know, I think that group is based in Norway. I'm not entirely sure.
They're just a bandit on a harpoon wound, man.
How but how, you know, how would a group like that go about changing Chinese minds, for instance?
I don't think they can, man.
See, like I said, it all ends up in a political route.
Of course it does.
Yeah, which, like I said, you know how politics is, and that's why they are taking the more direct route. But I'm just saying that you can't justify it because of they have good intentions. You know.
Right. No, absolutely.
So.
And when it comes to any kind of piracy, then Somali pirates, you know, hijacking violent pirates that are trying to gain some sort of monetary benefit, or these so-called, you know, morally good, quote unquote, pirates that are trying to save the environment, for instance, in the end, it's all bad. It's all a negative thing.
I think one's obviously worse than the other.
Yes.
You know, so I think it should be treated differently by the law, but just not. Because what happens if I become a pirate, like a fool-on, trying to gain some sort of monetary value by getting onto a ship, holding people hostage, but I'm taking that money back to my tribe to help build them up.
Right.
And use it for them.
Mm-hmm.
Because then I have good intentions, but I'm doing a bad deed to reach those good intentions.
Yeah. There's a lot of people our age that think we're destroying the environment, for instance. And a lot of people our age, I think, that are willing to go to some crazy lengths to achieve a goal. Are we going to demark that line where it is not okay to go outside the law to achieve any of these goals?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen a lot of, like, violence has been, like, the first action. Like, you look at the riots that happen on college campuses.
Right.
Like, it goes straight to violence. It's like, we have no patience to take the right approach.
The easy
Hitting
way,
like
the fast way.
Yeah, to getting to a sustainable peace that everybody wants.
We'll point out that for every violent protest, there are a lot of peaceful ones, and I'm all down for peaceful protests, even if you're wrong. But you're right. I mean, it does seem like the violence is ramping up a little bit. And in the end, I mean, that could be considered some form of piracy. You're often hurting people the way pirates are. You're stealing the platform.
They're often breaking into...
You are a thief of joy.
A thief of joy.
Well, they're also, you know, breaking into shops on these strips. You know, they're throwing bricks through. People are raiding, stealing TVs and shit. Like,
I would call that piracy.
Yeah.
If anything. I mean, a lot of these people wear masks too. And
use improvised weapons. It's insane.
What's crazy about a lot of that too is that it's like Antifa, and they'll get... You've heard of Antifa?
I have not.
Okay, anti-fascists. That's their thing.
Yeah.
Very ironic if you look at their behavior, because they act a lot like the browncoats did in Germany. Very, very fascistic behavior. Because in their minds, it's justified because their enemy, quote unquote, are fascists. So apparently, the only way to defeat fascists is through fascist.
Like fighting fire
tactics.
with fire.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't see how you can claim the moral ground in any respect, even if you were trying to fight fascists, which obviously I don't think that's true. If you, one, say it's okay to punch Nazis, and then two, say that all of these people over here that don't believe, like I'm thinking of Trump voters basically, are Nazis, then all of a sudden you created a rationale for actually violently hurting the people that don't agree with you.
It's just a justification.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's
do you
like,
think
I hate you.
Would you say there's more of a... They're more moral pirates nowadays?
Yeah.
Like we are all moral pirates to some degree.
Well, some of us are.
Some of us, sorry.
I just don't...
That's the anti-free speech stance, I would say, is
I don't get how
moral
these people
pirates.
have time. The 90s were a much better time because everybody was chasing money.
Yeah.
Now we're not chasing money, and
You
everybody
got a
has
good
way
case
too
of the
much
members.
They have too much damn time on their hands to be able to run around breaking shit. It's
I
like,
just don't
go get
see
a job.
Yes, I just don't see. It's like they had a day because of Trump's travel ban, like where all of the immigrants and basically anyone that's not white was supposed to close up shop and not go to work and all this stuff. And it's like, if you want to be considered a part of our society, then stop separating yourself from everybody. That's exactly what you're doing, right? Is you're saying, I'm this, I'm not you, I'm this, and because I'm this, I want you to notice that I'm this, and how I'm going to get you to notice is by not showing up to work today.
And then you have to like tread like thin ice around
Really
them.
thin ice.
Yeah.
You're right. It is a bit of a moral piracy thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You are stealing my morals by putting your thoughts of my morals into me.
Someone else is imposing their stuff on you, therefore not granting you the ability to think for yourself.
Right.
Stealing free
Or choose
speech.
for yourself.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. And I mean, that's like our most basic right is free speech. Like, to be able to go around and say whatever we want to say, but now we can't. We have to like walk on real thin ice and just look at everybody and be like, all right, are they that? But we can't say anything about it. We have to think it and then dance around it as we try to hold a conversation, even just in their vicinity. And it's like, why the fuck do I have to do that?
Yeah, for real. I mean, that's essentially what political correctness is, right? It's stealing
Fucking
your
stupid.
morality. Because, yeah, you think differently, therefore you're evil, is what the claim is.
Yeah.
That is
And
completely
it's on
ridiculous.
both sides, too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no,
And
totally.
It's been on both sides.
It is on
And
both
that's
sides.
What,
I mean,
that's what drove me into the middle ground and just putting 2 fingers up to both sides.
That sounds pretty accurate, man.
I think a lot of people are feeling that way. I don't think that a lot of people our age are really too thrilled with either extreme.
Yeah.
And most of us land somewhere in the middle on one side or the other. But a lot of us want to get along and be able to disagree and have a conversation. Actually, in this show, we want to have conversations. We want to set up a way for our audience to have a conversation with us and to interact with us, and we're working on that. But that's the purpose of the show in general, is to have the discussion and not have a ideologically homogenous sort of bubble where we all just agree with each other constantly and don't have our ideas challenged.
Yeah.
The whole point is to have our ideas challenged, but the only way you do that is through free speech and through throwing the ideas out there. And you can't do that when these moral pirates, I like the term, I'm going to use it, when these moral pirates come in and say, oh, you're no longer allowed to speak because you're white.
It's our new viral phrase, moral pirates.
Yeah.
You are a moral pirate.
Are you? That's also. Are you a moral pirate? All right. So we have real life Somali pirates and all kinds of other actual pirates. We have environmental pirates and we have moral pirates. And I think the most dubious one that we have to deal with on a daily basis are the moral pirates
Butt pirates.
and butt pirates.
Chris, you were about to drop a major peg leg on us by really putting to light a form of piracy that we all engage in, online piracy. Yeah. Like that whisper.
That's right, Jacob. But first, we're going to play our special game, 2 Pirates and a Lie.
I made it myself.
All right. So explain 2 pirates and a lie for us.
2 pirates and a lie.
Please use the pirate voice the whole time.
I will. 2 pirates and a lie is where I was at work one day. Today. I was trying to think of a game for the show, and I thought, you know what? I really liked that fake news one from the last show, so I picked 2 real pirates and one that's not real.
Oh.
That one being the lie, if you couldn't catch the drift from the title.
So, Mr. Pirate, we're supposed to guess the fake pirate?
Yes, you're supposed to guess the fake pirate, Josh.
Okay. Dude, so much disdain.
So I've known both of you a while, and I know that we've never really talked about pirates, and I don't know how much you learned about pirates in your formal or informal education.
It's mostly
So,
informal.
Very informal. The first pirate's name is Henry Avery, otherwise known as Long Ben. Henry Avery was dubbed the King of the Pirates by his contemporaries. Avery was one of the most notorious pirates of his time, and earned his place in pirate lore as being one of the first pirates to set sail under the Jolly Roger. Avery led a pirate fleet against Ganj-e-Swai, a massive treasure ship owned by the Grand Mughal of India. Despite his dangerous career as a swashbuckler, which only lasted 2 years, he peacefully retired without being caught or arrested.
I think it was for the R arrested.
Yeah.
Arrested.
Joke that was in there.
Oh, I even missed it, and I'm a pirate. Fuck. The next famous pirate is Sir William Finch, otherwise known as Gregory One-Eyed Cocker. Sir William Finch was most known for amassing his fortune from raiding the booties of other pirates. But amongst all of his booty, his prized possession was his collection of eyeballs pirated from the skulls of other pirates and adversaries.
Wait, what was his nickname?
His nickname was Gregory One-Eyed Cocker.
Okay, just wanted to hear it one more time.
The next notorious pirate was named Sadie Farrell. Sadie Farrell was a gang leader from New York who was known for headbutting male victims in the stomach and then robbing them blind. Although she began her life of crime with petty thievery, she was inspired to become a pirate while witnessing the botched robbery of a sloop by the Charlton Street Gang of New York. She was also known as Sadie the Goat.
Long
So-
Ben was the fake one.
So go through it again. So we have Long Ben.
We have Henry Avery, a.k.a. Long Ben.
Mm-hmm.
We have Sir William Finch, otherwise known as Gregory One-Eyed Cocker. And Sadie Farrell, otherwise known as Sadie the Goat.
We're such immature fucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So which one's the fake one?
Giggling.
Or which one's the real one?
Well, you're supposed to guess. So, Joshua, out of all of these ones, which one is the lie?
I gotta be honest. I gotta go with the solid "Meh" on this one and say Sadie the Goat.
And what about you, Christopher?
I'm saying Long Ben's the fake one.
Long Ben. You think Long Ben is a fake name?
Yep.
It's a very proud name. Long Ben.
I don't think many women would be proud of the nickname the Goat. To be honest.
Well, gentlemen, you're both wrong. The fake pirate's name was Sir William Finch, otherwise known as Gregory One-Eyed Cocker. I got that name off a pirate name generator. Which is very cool.
It's very
Should have
cool.
gone with old Greg.
Wait, so
I picked Gregory.
so Sadie the Goat and Long Ben were both real people.
They were both real people. One was, so Sadie was, she kind of reminded me like an Arya Stark character.
Mm.
She became a very, very, very well-known thief, like a actual like a mugger. She'd mug people in in New York City and around the Lower Manhattan area, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And she was very vicious.
Mm.
Her nickname was the Goat because she would headbutt them.
That
Game of
is
Thrones just
amazing.
brought
Yeah,
in a
brutal.
swashbuckler.
Huh?
So Game of Thrones just brought in a swashbuckler.
They sure did.
Spoilers.
Henry
I
Avery.
haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
I knew this one would get everyone because, or get somebody because Long Ben is such a ridiculous name. Henry Avery was dubbed the king of the pirates by his contemporaries, basically.
Damn.
They thought of him very highly because he was the first one to come up with, or not come up with, but fly under the Jolly Roger.
Mm-hmm.
That skull and crossbones crap you'll see in all the movies. I'm pretty sure you've seen movies, right, Chris?
Yeah. A couple.
Anyway, he basically led a raid, a very successful raid on a big treasure ship in India, and his career only lasted 2 years. Literally like 2 years. And he was able to retire
Oh, so you didn't get caught or anything?
without being arrested or, killed.
Top notch.
Very top notch.
Goals.
Goals, yeah.
Work for 2 years and then retire.
Those are
Yeah.
some pirate squad goals. Shit was very lit, fam.
Some booty goals.
All right, guys. Well, we're about to take a commercial break. We are going to be talking about a piracy that, like we said, a little bit more familiar to us millennials, and that is internet piracy. We will be right back.
What will we do with the drunken sailor? What will we do with the drunken sailor? What will we do with the drunken sailor early in the morning? Way hey, up she rises, way hey.
Morty, wake up. You gotta get up here, Morty. Get up. Come on.
Rick, what is it, Rick?
You gotta listen to these guys really quick.
Rick, I really have to go to sleep. I mean, we went all the way over to Nebulo 7, and now I need to get ready for school.
Forget it. Just wait. You gotta wake up. Listen to these guys. Millennial Mind Games, Morty.
Millennial Mind Games? What's that, Rick?
It's a podcast, Morty. Read a book.
What is this show about exactly?
Breaking the millennial stigma, Morty.
I guess,
We're all millennials here.
am I a millennial, Rick?
You are a millennial. I'm a millennial.
Oh, geez, Rick. I don't know about this. Is it worth my time?
It's totally worth your time. Just click the link on your screen, Morty.
Oh, well, I clicked on it, and it says...
What's it say? Read it to me, Morty. Read it to Grandpa.
Well, Rick, it says that they break the millennial stigma every week by talking about how different millennials view the world. Would you say that's true?
It's pretty different. I mean, I view the world pretty differently, but they guys have it down. They just recorded their 3rd episode, Morty, and it's pretty great. I'd pay about 4 flurbos for it. And you know what, Morty? I hear the next episode is about 100 Days of Summer, And we're not talking about your sister, okay? So don't get weird about it.
Well, good, Rick, because I don't like talking about my sister.
Yeah, this isn't
She's annoying.
This isn't Game of Thrones, Morty.
That sucks. I love Game of Thrones, but
Well, don't
this
be
sounds
weird.
like it's worth at least a few schmeckles.
It's worth whatever you want, Morty.
Oh, geez, Rick, are you drunk again?
No, Morty, no. I was just, all right, maybe Grandpa's a little drunk. Maybe Grandpa had a little bit. What's it to you, Morty?
Well, Rick, I mean, you get a little angry when you're a little slosh.
Don't patronize me, Morty. Jump into this teleporter, Morty. Jump in with Grandpa.
What's on the other side,
Don't
Rick?
worry about it.
What's on the other side? You gotta tell me now.
Don't worry about it.
Oh,
Get over here,
jeez.
Morty. Come here. Come here, Morty. Come
Oh,
on, Grandpa.
no. Don't. Come on,
Morty,
Rick.
Where you going?
Come on,
Ricky,
it's
come
still
on, come
morning.
on, come
I
on.
haven't even
Let's go.
brushed my teeth.
Let's go. Come on. No, let's go.
Welcome back. All right, so now we're going to talk about a bit of a more familiar version of piracy to all of us. We're talking about internet piracy, right, Chris?
Yes, we are.
So let's define internet piracy really quick. I'm thinking torrents. I'm thinking of downloads of different kinds. I'm thinking of that sort of thing.
Well, there's also streaming, illegally streaming, sports events, which is a huge one.
Right.
Any sort of movie, TV show, and ad blocking has been considered piracy, which I really don't know how that's piracy, but, some sites have considered it a form of piracy.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I guess I can kind of get that.
So one that I wanted to bring up was the LimeWire case. I mean, we all know LimeWire.
Right.
Love it. I still love LimeWire. Well, I don't use it anymore, but I still love what
You're the one person still using
right?
LimeWire.
No,
Well,
it turned into Frostwire.
Actually,
Oh, really? Wow.
Well, it did turn into FrostWire, but there is actually an older version of LimeWire that is still functional. I think it's like version 5.5.
You're kidding me.
Is when they updated it and put the block in for it to stop. So anything below that still functions today.
Do you remember the sound bit? Sorry to interrupt you, but remember when you would download a song, but if you fucked up, like you downloaded the wrong thing or the wrong type of file, it was Bill Clinton, and he'd be saying, "I did not have sexual relations with that woman." Like it was like,
Really?
Yep.
it was
Never
that.
heard that.
It was that.
That's
Like,
hilarious.
That was the thing, and I downloaded that multiple times on accident, and I'd be listening to entire albums. Like my first album I ever downloaded, the Gorillaz, there was Metallica, and like Hoobastank.
Gorillas are great.
And each one of those little bits or each one of those little grouping of songs had the Bill Clinton clip in it. It was so bad. I didn't know what to do.
You just got to find it and then skip it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, man.
That's awesome.
I think, like, in the case of LimeWire is when I noticed, like, basically DJ watermarks coming into songs.
Right.
Like, and I think it was because they knew people were going to get it anyway without paying. So they're like, at least I'm going to advertise myself so people know who I am.
No, that makes
So-
sense.
DJ Khaled.
We the best. What was crazy though is they were found liable for copyright infringement in May of 2010.
This is LimeWire?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think it was Arista Records versus LimeWire. They were demanding $75 trillion in damages.
Wow.
Trillion with a T.
Jesus.
Like some people don't even know that's a real number.
Right. Right.
That's actually more than the world's GDP.
The entire wealth of the world.
Yes.
God,
that they
that's
were demanding in damages. It's crazy. It's actually more money than the entire music industry has made since Edison invented the phonograph in 1877.
Could you imagine?
I remember the phonograph. Great machine.
I can't even imagine like the guy from LimeWire sitting there and the judge being like, "All right." You won't-
Well, actually, I saw another album. I believe he's the one who also started Spotify
Oh, really? Wow.
as well. Yeah, he took this kind of to heart and was like, "I'll do it the right way then, and I'll make even more money."
Oh, good for him. He did.
So, not 100% sure if that's completely true or not, but I just saw an article. Said
Whether it is or
something
not, I
about
love
it, yeah.
Spotify.
Spotify's great too. I actually switched from Spotify to Google Play Music instead.
Mhm. Yeah,
How,
I use
how do you
Google Play,
feel?
too.
How does it make you feel?
A lot better actually because you get YouTube Red with it.
Yep.
And YouTube Red's
you really?
awesome.
Oh, yeah.
It's awesome. $10 a month. You get No ads on YouTube.
And this
Pay
isn't
for an
this
ad
isn't a
blocker,
plug. This
but
is just you.
It's not piracy.
Yeah, this isn't a plug. This is just you being satisfied.
Yeah.
With the product.
It's awesome.
Damn.
And you can close your phone out without having to like exit the video.
Yeah, that's really
It's
nice,
awesome.
actually.
It's like
Wow,
Yeah.
that is high speed shit. Oh my god.
technology.
Yeah.
If you guys are interested, the full article on the LimeWire case is on PCWorld.com, written by Sarah Jacobson. Great stuff on there. A lot of information that I didn't really dive into, but there's a lot more on there if you want to go check that out.
So, all of this considered, I guess the question would be, most of us our age, I would say, are guilty of this in some form or another, right? And
No comment.
we won't get specific.
Yeah.
But is this a good thing? Is there advantages to the system working this way? Are there disadvantages? What do you guys think?
I think for the purpose of creativity, people can create more things and create more freely with bytes. I mean, people remake stuff all the time, and if there's a lot of stuffy copyright laws and pirating laws, it's just like less new stuff can be produced.
Mm-hmm.
That's my main point.
Mm.
Less actual new stuff is being produced. I mean, Kanye West's entire album is samples. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, really?
It pisses me off because everybody's like, oh, he's a great producer. And I'm like, he's a great copywriter.
Yeah,
He just steals everybody's stuff and then uses it for his own. I mean, yeah, he does some great work over it,
right.
but it's like his foundation is somebody else's work. And then he's like, I'm so great. And it's like, no, you're really not. You're using other people's stuff to claim you're great.
Yeah.
Like,
And, I'm a musician and have performance background and all that stuff. And it occurs to me that the world we live in, it seems much more democratic in the way that musicians can make a living, like meaning that there are more people making a living doing
Yeah.
it. It's not like you're aiming for the one big record deal anymore, because record companies just aren't making money anymore because
Chance
of
the Rapper.
internet piracy, right? Yeah, but I mean, there are of course certain people that make it that mainstream. They do, but in general, the working musicians now are people that have garnered and built up an audience on their own and are doing it independently and not through a label. And one drawback of that is there are very few. Chance the Rapper would be a good example of one of these, but very few
Great example.
musicians that are making millions right now.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of musicians that are doing just fine with their work and touring, because they have hit the grindstone and built something from scratch instead of waiting for some big company to advertise, promote, and sell their product. There's a mixture there, but when people download something, I think there should be at least some sort of obligation. Okay, if I like this, I'm gonna actually buy it. Instead, like, it's one thing, okay, you listen to a song, you think it's shit, and then you're not really stealing anything else from this group. But it's another thing if you download the whole Chance the Rapper album and you love it, and then you don't do anything, you don't buy it, you don't support, you basically took something that you love and that you're gonna keep, right? I mean, I think it was James Hetfield on Joe Rogan that said essentially the way he thinks about it, it's akin to going into a record store and just taking a CD off the shelf. And he asked the question, would you do that? Would you go into a store and just take something? I mean, some people would, of course, but if you loved that band or that artist or whatever, would you do that to them?
Well, that's why a lot of artists, I know especially in hip-hop, have been putting out free music instead, putting out their mixtape and whatnot,
Right.
And they've been doing that for a reason, to create that almost cult following before they go mainstream or before they go big,
Mm-hmm.
so that people do feel that obligation to pay for it.
Yeah.
Rather than like, oh, my favorite artist just put out a new album, I'm just going to go on LimeWire
So
and download it,
Yeah, so creators should be more personally motivating their audiences to be invested, and they should basically adapt to this reality instead of trying to change it, because I think when a lot of this stuff first started coming around, there was a lot of effort to just stop it completely.
Yeah.
And, there's a ton of famous artists trying to stop the inevitable is what it seems like, right, of illegal downloads, because how do you
Yeah.
completely stop that? But at the same time, I don't think it should be completely accepted either, right? So there's
Yeah.
got to be some sort of middle ground where we can learn to live as consumers and as creators with each other in a mutually beneficial way, right?
Yeah, and I think Spotify, Google Play Music, iTunes Music, all of these services have helped with that, because now it's only $10 a month, and you can download your favorite albums,
Mm-hmm.
all of them,
Yeah.
no matter what. You have no limit to how many you can get,
Yeah.
and it's legal,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the right thing to do. The music industry is no longer like an album sales like machine like it used to be.
Yes.
It's all performance now.
Yep.
The money's in performances, and that's why a lot of artists are putting out free music before they go mainstream, and that's why they're putting out songs so quickly as well onto these other platforms, so that they can sell out venues quickly.
Yeah.
They just basically hit the ground running.
In a way, I think that's actually a really good thing, because I hate when bands, for instance, I mean, there's the more blatant examples of actual lip syncing, of playing your track and then pretending like you're playing live. But also, we've all seen bands where they just didn't perform the way they sound on their record. And the amount of technology that's available to completely change mistakes
Yeah.
and to completely auto-tune and all that stuff. So there was this musician on SNL where she got busted for performing they played the wrong track, and it was very obvious that she was lip syncing, that the whole band was essentially faking their performance. And what this demands of performers now is that they actually be performers.
Yeah.
And in that way, I think it's great, because to me, a live show shouldn't just be you playing your album in front of a bunch of people. It should be there should be an element of give and take and of changing, and in the moment sort of, hey, we're gonna make this thing longer, or cut this thing short, or we're gonna add this thing that none of that you heard on the record, because we're in the moment right now and we're doing something because we're actual musicians that can do that. And in that way, I think it's a really good thing, because like you said, no one's making money off of records now. They're making money off of their performances.
Yeah, I know like Blink-182 did that with a couple of their songs. They have like different pieces. One, obviously, the radio edit, and then like the album edit. And then live is just completely different.
Right. And I love that.
Yeah. And it gives you something new, too, to go back and talk about the experience. So now you're also spreading word to other people, like, you should definitely go see them, because they do everything completely different, and it's awesome.
Yeah. One reason I think graffiti, for instance, is awesome is because of, and, I'm not promoting the idea of graffitiing everything, but one cool thing about it is that when you know it's going to be painted over, there's a temporary element, and that almost adds to its beauty in a weird way, is that if you saw that thing, it's not going to be there anymore. You don't need to document it. It was just, you were part of that in that time, right?
Yeah.
And in that space. And when you're at a performance that is just stellar and no one records it, all it is a story in your head afterwards. There's something beautiful about that, of the effervescence of it.
Yeah.
Or not effervescence, the evanescence of it.
Yeah.
Essentially.
That's the word.
I got my thesaurus mixed up in my head. But all of that's good. All of that's good.
Yeah.
I just hope that people our age start to actually support the creators, whether that's music or YouTubers or whatever it is that they like. They should be supporting it, because nowadays that's really kind of, it's turned more like Patreon, right? It's turned more into a patron system, like a crowdsourced patron system, than a commercial product sales system. In one way, that's really good. We'll see how it goes, but like I said, it just seems more democratic in that there's a lot more people doing it, and a lot more people making a living doing it, just not a lot of people making huge millions of dollars doing it.
I just want to give you guys a few statistics on millennials and piracy in general.
Sure.
More than 2/3 of millennials have admitted to piracy downloads and streams.
That does not
So
surprise
I
me.
confess.
Which two of you are doing it? It's not me.
You heard me earlier.
There are three of us.
LimeWire.
LimeWire.
Desktop streaming of videos, TV shows, sports events is about 42% of millennials in this survey said that that's what they use it for.
Mm-hmm.
Mobile streaming was 41%. Torrenting was actually down, and is down to about 17%.
Interesting.
I found that interesting too.
Yeah.
But I think it's a part of that, artists putting out free music on certain websites, their own, and then also the platforms of Spotify and Google Play and
Right. It's easier to
iTunes
do it
Music.
legally now than it used to be.
They made it insanely easy.
Yeah, and that's awesome.
Which is good because it's also a weight off our shoulders. I mean,
Absolutely.
back in the day, you got to worry about hiding your iPod. Hiding your iPod.
I mean, we've all had that email from 21st Century Fox. That warning email, like, you
your
know
internet
who
company.
I am. Uh-huh.
You downloaded too many movies. Do it again. We're shutting off your internet.
It's always like the one you don't think it's gonna be, like, it's like fucking Dodgeball or like 2004 or whatever that movie came out. Like, that's the one that you paid attention to.
It's like 1 a.m. and you're like, kind of want to watch that movie, but it's not on Netflix. Yeah. Another thing was, like, with the ad blockers, 32% said that they use desktop ad blockers. I mean, why wouldn't you?
I do.
They're so annoying.
You don't want
It's
to be
like,
bombarded with a shit ton of ads.
Yeah.
Every time you click a stupid video.
I hate going onto magazine websites, especially when I'm trying to do like research for the show, because they always pop up with some stupid video that's like 18 times louder than your system should get.
Yes, it's the worst.
And they just yell at you. And they're
They
like,
know what
wheat
you're doing.
thins, and it's like, I'm looking up piracy. I don't want wheat thins.
But now you do.
Yeah.
You think it'd be a Captain Crunch at least?
So 17% was on mobile ad blocking. Found this one interesting. Only 14% said that they use desktop and mobile ad blocking. So I was like, why are you picking one or the other? Like,
Oh, okay.
I just don't understand that. And then 36% said that they don't use either. I mean, that's a
Really?
yeah.
What are they doing?
Yeah. What?
Just
what
dealing
is
with
wrong
it?
with them?
Hearing about a lot of wheat things.
Yeah. God.
Just getting yelled at by ads.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess like what this brings up is, what do you guys think about like ad blocking? Do you think it should be considered piracy, or is it just something completely different?
Well, make the ads less obnoxious and we wouldn't need it, you know? Seriously.
Yeah, I mean, we live in a world where, for instance, a lot of us don't have cable and we watch Netflix. I mean, I guess Hulu still has ads, but
Hulu sucks
yeah,
because they have ads.
a lot of people don't like that. You're paying subscription, you think you wouldn't have the commercials.
Yeah.
So I think we've gotten used to having what we want when we want it in a lot of ways. And the idea of an ad, I mean, think about buffering, for instance. Like, it used to be buffering was a normal part of your interaction. I could talk about dial-up, right? And having to spend the time to prepare the interaction with the computer and all that
like
stuff.
a caveman.
Yes, like a caveman.
Oh my God.
And now it's like my phone buffers for 2 seconds, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with my
I
internet?
get really pissed.
Yeah,
That's it. I'm switching to AT&T.
I can't even help it, man. Like, it's just
Yeah.
how I feel when that happens. And so ads do the same thing. They have the same effect on me. And I think I'd suspect a lot of people our age. But the thing is that really is that is a large amount of income for a lot of these sites, for things like Hulu, all of that stuff. Advertisement always has been a part of entertainment. And I can understand where people come from when they say that ad blocking is a form of piracy. You're kind of in a roundabout way stealing from them in that way, because you're accessing their content without paying the price, which is sitting through the ad. In that sense, I guess I could see it being a negative.
Well, for video ads, I know they're just really annoying. We hate those. And if you put video ads on your website, honestly, I leave instantly. If a video starts playing, I leave it.
Yeah, if I really want to
like
watch
that.
the video, I will mute it and then not look. I purposely not look at
The
it.
only ones that I've actually stayed on are ones that play like movie trailers. Honestly, because I'm like, I haven't seen the new Godzilla trailer yet.
Right. Yep.
And I'm sitting there. But anything else, I leave it. But
How do you reconcile the sheer inability to actually cope with these ads sometimes with the idea that if you're not watching the ad or paying to have the ad removed, that you are taking money away from a website that you're trafficking?
I mean, we're in the age of subscriptions
Yeah.
now. So I mean, like, I'm not saying every website should have subscription services, but I mean, it's a great way to make money.
For sure.
And, you know, if you have a subscription to, like, you know, USA Today or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Crate.
like if you log into their website, I don't think you should have to be faced with the ads because you're paying them money. And I think it's the same with magazines too. And I think that's a dying industry in itself because you're paying them money mostly for advertisement.
Right.
Like that's all they're doing is advertising a bunch of nonsense throughout the thing. And it's like, all right, I got 3 pages of content, 4 pages of ads.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this bullshit.
Right.
Like,
No, I totally get that.
so
And
like ad revenue is a big thing, but also subscription revenue could be a huge thing.
And you see a lot of this happening. I mean, think about Blue Apron, which is a
Yeah.
subscription food service. You have subscription clothes services. You have subscription, like, even mattress services sometimes. Like, I mean, there's all sorts of subscription services now that I love, and I think that's
Yeah.
great. And I think you're right, actually. I think that's kind of the way around it. And, for instance, we'll have advertisements on our show. I mean, so is it a matter of making the advertisements more entertaining, making them more content friendly, making the advertisements worth paying attention to?
I do see that movement, especially like with mobile devices. You know, I walk into a store and Google Maps will bring up a thing that's like, hey, do you want to rate this place that you're in now?
Right.
And what that does is also help Google get information on where I go. And I know that sounds scary to people, but they present
another
me.
topic.
Yeah, they present me with actual ads and actual like coupons
Mm-hmm.
to places that I actually frequently go,
Yeah.
which is better than if I'm just getting yelled at for some random nonsense that I'm never gonna do.
Or
in,
let's
like
say,
Tacoma, Washington.
right. Yes. Exactly. What's the one time that people actually want to pay attention to commercials? You guys, you know, I'm sure you know. But can you think of it?
When there's sex involved, like when
No,
there's like
The
movie
Super
active-
Bowl. The Super Bowl.
That one.
Okay,
Yeah.
Right?
Take out what I just said. I thought you meant the content of the ad.
Right.
Like,
Well, that's yeah, but
know what I
think
mean?
about that. And
The same movie
during the Super
trailers.
Bowl, I mean, how many people, like, I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't even care about the game and they watch the commercials. And
Yeah.
why do they? It's because they know that the commercials are going to bring their A game, right? I mean, think
Yeah.
about even the Geico commercials. You can watch a Geico commercial and not feel like it's bothering you because it actually feels like it has content to it, and that it's not just trying to sell you something. So I wonder if the key here is for advertisers to try to find a way to advertise their content without, or in an entertaining way, rather.
Yeah, and not up the volume.
Yes,
Because
that's,
one, I'm pretty sure that's illegal to do.
it seems like they do that, though.
They do, and it's not like monitored, which it should be,
Uh-huh.
because that's the most annoying part. Is when you're watching a TV show late at night, the whole house is asleep. You have the volume on like 3
Uh-huh.
and subtitles on, but then it comes on and it's like the volume's at like 30.
Yes,
Just
yes.
yelling, and then everybody's like, "Go to bed." I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Like those Girls Gone Wild ads that would play on MTV really late at night. Yeah,
or
back when
early
we
in
were
the
kids.
morning if you caught them.
Yes, exactly. So in the end, I think what we can surmise is that us as millennials, we need to be a little bit more forgiving when it comes to advertisements and a little bit less pirate-y in that sense. But at the same time, I think the advertisers should take on the burden of no one wants to watch a fucking Subaru commercial that looks like every other fucking Subaru commercial anymore.
Every other
It-
car commercial, it's like it starts out in like a dark road.
It's like a genre.
and then
Yeah, it shouldn't be, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it should be interesting and unique, and people should work on it instead of feeling like they're being sold something to.
Just be simple.
Yes.
Hey, new Subarus are out. Check out your closest dealership. Done. If you're interested, you're interested. Like,
I want to find out the
you know.
life of the family that bought the Subaru.
I
I don't
think a
care
little
about
bit.
your actor's fake life. Like,
Right. I
and
think
then they
they're
always have the asterisk on the bottom. These not paid actors, like bullshit.
yes, and we only know so much about the advertising game, but I think that's true. Is that in my experience, advertisements that are more interesting, the ones during the Super Bowl, Geico commercials, I'm thinking of, those are the ones that people actually pay attention to.
And they'll go buy it.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly, and I mean, I think
Doritos.
Yeah, Doritos, yeah, exactly. So, it's that balance for advertisers of they can't be too try hard because we've seen ads like that too. But having genuine, honest, good content creators creating their ads instead of these advertising execs that kind of think that they can manipulate the human brain, which that's again a different subject.
Yeah, that's why psychology is a big part of marketing.
Absolutely.
I was a marketing major for like a minute, and then I looked at it and it was like a bunch of psychology, and I was like, that's kind of cool, but I don't want to do this.
Yeah. All right. So millennials, pay for the products you like. Advertisers do a better job of keeping us entertained, and I think that's a solid middle ground. So we'll leave the topic there, but before we go, we're going to do the 5 steps game to becoming a modern day pirate.
5 steps.
All right, Chris. So last week I went first. It is your turn to give us your 5 steps for becoming a modern day pirate.
5 steps to becoming a modern day pirate. Today's world of technology. First you got to install a VPN. I mean, this is just a practical route. Like, honestly, install a VPN. Use it. Not just if you're going to be like pirating things.
What does VPN stand for?
Virtual private network.
Yeah.
Use it if you don't want anybody to see what you're doing. If you don't want anybody to see any of your traffic, to help keep your basic information safe, your payment methods safe, because it's heavily encrypted. There are even VPNs that have double encryption coding. It's incredible.
It was crazy really quick on VPNs. When I was in China, they have very censored internet. Their Google is a lot different than our Google, and we were able to use VPNs while we were there, and it was pretty amazing to show some of these people that were with us what our Google looked like versus their Google, the kind of information they did not have access to. It was very interesting.
That's crazy.
So, go ahead. So that's number 1 is VPNs?
Yes, VPN. Just practical route. I mean, I'm just taking this away from the game now. Just use a VPN.
Yeah. It's worth looking into.
Now getting back into the game. Download and install a super awesome hacker program.
They have hacker programs.
Yep, super awesome ones.
You don't just have to be
dark
a hacker.
web. Get on your VPN, find the dark web. Yep, get in there. Make sure to bring a flashlight and a fleshlight because you never know what's gonna happen.
You never know in the dark web.
Oh boy.
From there, you're gonna join anonymous, but you can't tell everybody.
No, just buy the mask.
Yep. Get the sticker for your car.
You have to. What's that movie?
V for Vendetta.
Yeah, you have to watch V for Vendetta at least 5 times.
Great movie.
It is actually really good.
I love it.
Not the worst movie to have to watch 5 times.
After you join Anonymous, you're going to hack the world with them. 5th step, you download that new T-Swift album for free.
And then you're a true pirate.
You earned it.
Free.
Yeah, I bet you she hates pirates.
Dude, she makes way too much money. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, she makes a lot of money. All right, so that's a pretty pretty devious plan. A lot of work just to get the Taylor Swift album. You think it just
you got to be safe.
Be worth paying the $10?
No, just ask her to come to and perform it for you.
Yeah, I know, right? All right, so my 5 steps. That was Chris's. Mine are number 1, buy a long-tailed leather jacket.
Oh God.
You've seen these guys every once in a while.
Yeah, you wonder
100
if they're,
degrees.
if they're. I mean, I don't think hacker. I think of like school shooter.
The kid who walks.
Well, it's just the first step.
The guy who walks around with the katana.
Yes, exactly.
There was actually a guy here in Tucson that used to do that.
Actually, the other day I was at work and a guy walked in with a katana in his hand. It's a whole story. I'll have to tell you off air. Number 2, wear a bandana and grow out your hair. Obviously, this is all about the look and feel of being a pirate. You want to feel like it when you're doing these things,
just for the part
to really
you want.
Embody, without having to go the extra step and buy a parrot or something like that.
But the parrot does help, right?
The parrot helps all the time. If you can, add a sub 6th step, buy a parrot. Number 3, you got to listen to Jimmy Buffett. Yes, I am a pirate 200 years too late. You got to. I know a lot of people are going to find that daunting, but if you really want to achieve piratedom, you have to listen to some Jimmy Buffett. You
just got to power through.
You got to power through it. Eat a cheeseburger. Pretend like you're on the beach. Be Jimmy Buffett. All right. Number 4, sit at your computer with an unlabeled bottle of O-rum. It just says bottle of rum on it. And
Very appropriate.
Yeah, and you sit there in your garb. You have to be in your garb. Ideally, you would have the parrot there next to you.
I think people do this without even realizing that they're...
And Jimmy Buffett's playing. Jimmy Buffett is playing.
You know damn well there's some guy sitting at his desk right now like, holy shit, I'm a pirate.
Yeah. I'm mostly thinking of my uncle who is a pirate. Number 5, you got a torrent. I would suggest Game of Thrones and watch your download. Basically torrenting while wearing a pirate uniform and listening to Jimmy Buffett. That is as close as you can legally get to being a pirate nowadays without actually robbing somebody. And that is my 5 steps to being a modern day pirate. So whose modern day pirate is more piratey? Who's the bigger swashbuckler?
I'll hack you.
It's your decision, Jacob.
I'll get Anonymous to hack you.
Well, you both went along the same road.
My guy actually dressed up like a pirate. And Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah, but I have super awesome hacker programs.
To hack Taylor Swift albums.
This is gonna be tough. I've done a lot of more outrageous and stupid things for a lot less than a Taylor Swift album. Chris, I'd pick your steps.
Yes.
All right.
What is it, 2-1 now?
Yep, you're in the lead, Chris.
Putting that on the board.
I guess I'll just go home and put my bandana on and listen to Jimmy
Nobody
Buffett.
wants to listen to Jimmy Buffett, but they love T Swift.
See, you're gonna forget all about this, Josh, when you get home. You're just gonna dress up in your garb and
I'm secretly confessing what I do on my off nights.
there you go.
He's going to get in his car, and you know damn well some T Swift's going to be playing.
Oh, yeah.
Not Jimmy Buffett.
All right, guys. Well, that was the 5 steps game. Okay, next week we are taking on 100 Days of Summer. How we deal with summer now, how we used to deal with summer, what do we do during the summer, how summer, quote unquote, has changed in our culture, what it means, all of that good stuff.
And people named Summer.
Of course.
Sundresses.
And what?
Sundresses.
Sundresses. That's going to be a solid 30 minutes on sundresses.
Yep.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week. This is Millennial Mind Games. If you liked the show, check us out on Facebook at Millennial Mind Games, on Twitter at m_mindgames, and on email at millennialmindgames@gmail.com. Right, Ewok? Meow, meow. Meow, Ewok. You're on camera. You're on mic. Go meow. There it is.